Hi, and welcome again to our Business Builder Moment. Now, last time we talked about finding that product or service. I don't know if I said service, but you want to find the product or service that you believe in, you're passionate about, push it, and make the money. Now, piggybacking off of that, we're going to talk about right now wealth versus wages. Now, we've been traditionally taught to go to work, find a job, and make wages. What you're paid hourly is a wage. And so we know that when we make wages, and I'm still piggybacking off of the video that I watched with Jim Rohn, business philosopher, but wages make you a living. This is what he says, but profits make you wealthy. Now, when we talk about just making a living, anybody can make a living, but everybody can't be wealthy. So when you find that product or that service that you believe in, it's going to make you wealthy if you take the time, which is our next business builder moment. We're going to talk about building wealth part-time. Now, wages versus wealth. Now, we know wages only go as far as we work. If we don't work, we don't make a wage, according to man's tradition. But becoming wealthy is based on taking that product or service and developing it in your part-time, and thus creating that wealth for you. That is longevity. Wages are temporary, but wealth is longevity, because a wage, again, is only what you work hourly and you make. So you want to make sure that you are taking that time part-time to develop and build wealth. You want to make sure that you are getting wealth so that you have longevity, and when you get ready to retire, let's say for instance your pension. We know we all like to say we got a pension stored up, we're working for that pension. But guess what? What if that pension fails? What if they decide they're not going to pay you that pension for whatever the reason? I always tell this story to people about my mother and how my mother worked for a pension, and she worked for 25 plus years on her job, retired. Her pension was supposed to be secure. Now you have to remember that a pension is contingent upon the terms in which the employer gives it. So if they decide they're not going to give it to you for a certain age, and God forbid you get sick or you get ill and you need that money in advance, they may decide they're not going to give it to you. Thus what happened to my mother. And so she worked for that pension, and what ended up happening is she got sick and ended up passing away. But before she passed away, she wanted to cash out her pension, and they told her no, she could not cash it out, which meant she had $100,000 plus stored up in a pension that she couldn't touch. They said that she needed to wait another year before she could actually max it out. So what ended up happening is my mother ended up passing away before she could even touch her pension. Now, how miserable is that, to know that you worked 25, 30 years for something that you can't even have on your own terms? But when you develop and you create wealth, your wealth is based on how you decide to distribute it, not what someone else tells you to. So keeping in mind, our business builder moment for today is wealth versus wages. Do you just want wages, or do you want to create wealth? And in our next business builder moment, we're going to continue talking about wealth, but we're going to also talk about building increase or wealth in your spare time, and just taking practical things and learning how to develop those things and make that money, honey.